Okay, this is one of the key questions. What do you tell people when they get cancer? What should they do? And what do you think causes it? Well, that's all rolled up in one. That's a good question. First off, I like to make sure they have cancer. When they get told they have cancer, usually it's by some hospital clinic. I'll give you an example of a guy from Minnesota who helped design and build the Mall of America. Can you imagine an engineer getting paid pretty good to do that? He had no money problems, all right? And he went in for a checkup over there in Rochester. And they said, you've got 6 weeks, 6 months if we treat you. He said, I've had a good life, I'm going on a party. He said he called up all the people that his family that would let him pay for their trip on the cruise. He's going to die anyway, so let's go have a party. What's 6 months? Time for a party, right? You can book a cruise. So I met him on that cruise, and his son was on the other side of me, and he said over here, I watched them, they had money, I didn't. So they're playing these slot machine things. They didn't bother to, they didn't exercise their arm, they're pushing the button instead of using that weightlifting thing or the casino. Well, maybe you don't know. Anybody been to the casino? That would have been it. How much did you lose? So, anyway, so I said, he looked at my shirt and asked me about, what's that chocolate mean? It's a program how to get thin by eating chocolate. I said, what's this to help you? He said, I've been seeing these shirts all over the cruise ship. What are those shirts about? So I told him. So you're to help. I said, yeah. I said, well, this cruise is because of my dad's health. And he shared with me what had happened. His dad's got good insurance. And he went to the, we say, hold the mail. It's on tape, I gotta be careful. Stop. And they said, you got this little short time to live, so he got all these nieces and nephews we never met. And I saw some of those party animals. They're having credit. There's no shortage of money, there's no shortage of food or nothing, because these kids are not acting very normal. At least normal to me. And when he got to Florida to get on the cruise, Tim said, Dad, you're coming with me. And Tim took him to another clinic. The dad had not brought his records. He said, don't need them. Now think about that. That's called a second opinion. They could find no cancer. I think he got in a car accident 6 years later or whatever, but he never got to suffer chemo. He missed out using his good insurance. He was a fun guy. So when you ask me, when people tell you they get cancer, make sure they got cancer. We've had quite a few of them that show up. It's like, what cancer? Well, you got symptoms. Well, symptoms are what? They're messengers. Why would you kill the messenger? God's saying, there's stages of cancer. We find cancer when it's stage 1, 2, 3, 4. When it's 4, Western medicine finds it. When it's 4, and we use some of our nutrition, it drops to stage 3 in a week to 2 weeks. Now they go back and get a second opinion anywhere, they're not going to find it. When Jimmy Keller would get a phone call that somebody's coming down to his clinic where he's reversing 95% reversal of sick cases sent home to die. Not remission, that's a word that somebody else used. Reversal is when it's behind you, it's done, it's over. Remission is if you manage to hang on with your hair falling out, you're vomiting, and you're nausea, and hard to get out of life, and you live for 5 days and you die 1 day after the 5th anniversary of the treatment, you were cured. That's not a cure. That means you suffered for 5 years and died within their time frame. They pat themselves on the back. They cured you as you're dead in the coffin. No, remission. Go have a good life. When they come down to see Jimmy Keller, and you tell them they have such and such cancer, here's what he would tell them. Cancer? Is that all? I thought he had something serious. Well, if it's just a 95% reversal, what's serious about cancer? You've been taught 30,000 commercials a year that there's no cure. Go for this walkathon, this marathon, donate to this cause. Little Johnny's got leukemia, put money in here, comes to spaghetti feed. We've got all these things to help funnel and feed the fraud that doesn't cure any cancer. When they get cancer, what should they do? Alkalize. Microhydrants, see it, we got products now, we don't even have to go intravenous. I've had this clean up kidney dialysis and cancer. I've had this just in, how many days before we saw a total change turnaround on that stage 4 cancer? It was a week, wasn't it?
Which one of the many?
Yeah, I know. The one that lived with us for 4 months. Which one of those?
With the CI, it was 2 days where the pain was gone.
Pain was gone 2 days, about 6 days.
6 days from stage 3 to stage 4 and stage 3.
Stage 4 and stage 3. And we have a whole lot more besides. It's like, which part of the smorgasbord of healing for cancer do you want to partake in? We don't heal your cancer. You do by taking the products, by doing lifestyle changes. There's some things we change before you even get to your first bottle of solution to get well. You get the heck off of animal protein. You do not eat meat till you're well. You cannot afford to break down hard-hitting proteins in the body and try to save your life from cancer. So you cut out the heavy meats, including fish. Now we find that fertile chicken eggs work just fine. That protein breaks down very easy, especially if it's soft cooked or raw. If that's where you start, and if they won't cut out the meat, you're going to waste a lot of nutrition on them just holding stick, just not to even get ahead, but just to stay even. Okay? There's a whole lot of things you avoid. We have a course where we teach people how to get past any dis-ease, and we teach you how to do it to yourself. So we don't cure anything. Nobody cures anything. Do you realize that? Only the human body cures itself with the right pieces. No doctors could use the word cure in the same sense as that I cured anything, because they don't cure. It's God's DNA program inside of you that cures you, that heals you, and puts you back to where you belong. It is not man. All we can do is either teach you how to take out the interference and how to put in the nutrition. What do you think causes cancer? Cells dying faster than they can be replenished. And every time something dies, did you know that fungus or mold shows up? If it did, this earth wouldn't work. So now they find, oh, we found candida. Mold. Cancer. The doctor got me over cancer in 1990. He said he's never seen a case of cancer that didn't have candida, but he's seen some people with candida that did not have cancer. I totally agree with him. But when you have cancer, you're going to have all kinds of fungus besides candida. Fungus is not the cause of the cancer. I'm sorry to tell you. Fungus has nothing to work on unless the cell dies, unless there's some kind of debris for it to munch on, to eat up. So, it's the chicken and the egg thing. Did the cancer get there because of mold? No. But what causes the mold? Did the mold cause the cancer? You can argue that forever, but I can tell you in God's program, when something dies, mold takes over. That's how it turns back to dust of the earth. So if you got too much mold in you, they can find cancer. We can find cancer long before you get that moldy. It's a lot easier to deal with when, like I told some people yesterday, it's a lot smarter to check the oil on the engine before the rod goes out the side. Get a blood test, get checked. Now I'm not talking about a Western medicine blood test. They can't do a real blood test. Or maybe by real, are you a live human? And we're gonna study cadavers, I can see studying dead blood. But you're a live human. We do the blood while it's still alive. We do it within minutes from the time that it's just taken from you. And then it doesn't get mixed up in the laboratory like some cases. I knew a lady in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I used to take my film to that store, get it developed, long before camera, what we got today. Hard to buy film anymore. I went back about 2 years later to see if she's still at the same store. And they looked at it, you ask her her name, and they look at you like, you don't know? Here's what had happened. She's a single mom, 6-year-old boy, got a blood test. The blood test came back, said she was HIV positive. She did not want to pass it on to her son, afraid she would if she stayed around him. She committed suicide. The funeral was in the middle of the week. And just before the funeral, they got in touch with the family and said, the laboratory mixed up, that was not her blood that had HIV. Somebody made a mistake in the lab. We look at your blood before it dies. They kill it and send it off to somebody that's just on a hangover on a Monday morning, doesn't really care. It's just a bunch of numbers, it's just a bunch of slides, it's a job, paying for whatever. And it's your life back here. And you're trusting them. I helped a guy get himself past cancer in Minnesota. And when he went back after 7 days and they couldn't find cancer anymore, the doctor that was doing a lymph node had already removed, he'd already cut off lymph nodes. They were going to do chemo, and then we intervened, the nutrition did. And the doctor, when the lab come back with no cancer in the report, he got so angry at his own laboratory, he said, you're going to have to go to the Mayo. He said, no, doc, I'm going natural. The sad story in that story was, oh, he's doing fine today, and his family's doing fine. But it's so split the family because he's got 2 sisters that are registered nurses that are so mad that he didn't go to the Mayo. So he finally did go back to the doctor to satisfy the nurses, because they're starting to think his doctor's incompetent also. But they sure didn't trust the quack that I was. But Logan, will you hand out the quack paper? What says quack on it? They didn't trust the quack. So he goes back, and you know what the same doctor told him when he was coming back with a clean report? Well, you never had cancer in the first place. And so his question to the doctor is, why were you cutting off my lymph nodes then? You might find some humor